think the outstanding achievements is to have become acceptable. When we first started, people looked and frowned at us, and the thought of children and motorbikes was a horrific idea. But of course, if you don't actually utilise the enthusiasm of youth for those activities, they do it illegally anyhow. So I think one great achievement is becoming socially acceptable. The other one, of course, is having a bunch of East End kids which take a lot of knocks, achieving and working at an international standard around the world. And I can honestly say, sort of with hand on heart, they've performed as key performers in the top international productions from as far afield as Singapore to Bermuda. What better accolade could the group get than be acceptable in these places?
Because one of the key motivating drivers, the raising of aspiration on these young people.
Absolutely. I've worked in education since coming out the services, and see many young people who don't achieve because they don't believe they can. They don't believe in themselves. There isn't a slot in the system in which they fit comfortably. Now, it may seem a far reach riding a motorbike to achieving in some other field, but it isn't, because first they learn to overcome their natural fears of a big machine. Secondly, they learn to work as part of a team, then to perform in an international team, then to meet people from all walks of life, from royalty to production teams to members of the public, and they gain a certain inner confidence that allows them to build on that. And so when they go to apply for a job and the employer's trying to draw them out to see what type of guy he's got in front of him, instead of just clamming up, they have something to talk about. They're enthusiastic about it, they're fired up, and that actually works with an employer. They may not have the best academic qualifications, but they've got enthusiasm. Having said that, we have had a number of academics come through the group who are now working and running their own international companies, or one even working for NASA. So it gives you some idea of the range of young people that come through the Imps.
What about time scale and some of the routines and some of the presentations? Say, for example, what we've seen from the Edinburgh military tattoo. How long does it take for all that to be rehearsed?
Right, we work on an annual basis. So we will start training at the end of September and have the team ready for the 1st of May, for the opening show. But some of those routines are set up by guys who may have done up to 10 years in the team, and it's handed down to the next guy in line. So it takes many, many years, and to be able to perform, when I say speed, I'm not talking about the bikes going fast, but fitting into an 8-minute slot, a 25-minute program. That requires speed and skill of teamwork behind the scenes so that things are turned round and go up. That takes years to rehearse, practice and perfect.
And again, going on to the culture of the Imps, filming rehearsals earlier, I'm up the top and the little lad, he falls over. Now, 21st century, wouldn't that be a huge group of people all gathering around, picking him up? But you're very much, he'll get up and he'll get his bike back. Is that again part of the culture of the Imps?
It's part of the experience we've built up. We know that they're well protected. They're wearing body armour, they're wearing the correct equipment all the way through. And the speed that those guys were going round was little more than walking speed. Unless they're trapped under the machine, you know they can't really be hurt. Also, when they look round to see if you're paying attention, you know they're not injured. If they're injured, they're worried about what's hurting. So it's a matter of experience. If we need to be there, we're there. We have a system for that. But at the same time, they're learning to be men, if you like, and you do take a few knocks and falls, and providing all the safety is there, the training's there, and they're well protected, you instinctively know 9 times out of 10 whether you need to dash over or whether you just signal them to get up. Part of the thing is that the little lad you saw hadn't quite got the routine is that when they do fall off, they're trained to roll into a ball near their machine, because if there's 20 other machines operating, their motorcycle will protect them. If it runs into them, it'll hit the motorcycle and not them. And also, if they're moving about, the other riders don't know how to avoid them. So they are trained to go into a recovery position and stay put. So other people think, my God, why aren't people dashing out there? Well, that's the reason why. We're waiting until we can make it safe.
And you've made some fantastic links across the world, haven't you? Norway and America. You've got a worldwide reputation.
The team have built that up, and I think really it started at Edinburgh in Scotland, at the Edinburgh Military Tattoo, where we worked with 1 year the Singapore Police Band and the government officials from Singapore. As a result, we were invited to perform at the Chingay procession in Singapore. We've rubbed shoulders with the leading performers at these big international events and been invited all around the world. Last year I was actually in the Kremlin as a guest of honour of the Kremlin, ready to prepare for a tattoo the youngsters have been asked to take part in. I mean, how great is that for a bunch of East End kids to perform in Red Square? We've been out to Bermuda, performed in Bermuda and learnt the history of Bermuda. Yes, they do have a very wide international experience.
Maybe the Russians like the colour of your outfit, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe we fitted in. That certainly was the trick in Singapore. They said one of the main reasons for inviting you is your red tunics. Red is our colour.
So do you have a 1 year, a 5 year, a 10-year plan? How do you look to the future?
Right, with the... are you talking about shows or for the organisation?
Both.
Right, well for the organisation you're looking to have a 5-year development plan. And in this climate it could be a 5-year survival plan. With the shows, you try and forecast as far ahead as you can for a major event. Because Edinburgh, that's 5 to 6 weeks out of your calendar. So we don't want to know we're doing that next week. We want to know a few years back that we're doing it next week. But the British circuit, you can be asked